All right. Good morning. Thanks everyone for joining us for this week's edition of the Arkansas Broadband Leaders Network, or ABLN, our biweekly call where we update our statewide stakeholders around everything broadband related happening in the natural state. And we'll get started this morning. As always, if you have any questions, please enter them into the chat box as we go forward, and we'll be able to answer them when we get to the Q&A portion of our presentation this morning. So our agenda, quickly, we'll have some broad updates regarding mostly the BEAD program. We'll cover that. And then our guest content for today will be the AmeriCorps American Connection Corps. They are going to enlighten us on their digital equity competitive grant win, what that means for the organization as a whole, and what that means for Arkansas specifically. So we'll look at that in a little bit. And then, of course, as always, open up for discussion and Q&A. Quick announcement off the top here. I just want to remind everyone, please do not create and or send separate ABLN calendar invites. Obviously, please feel free to forward these meetings to any of your friends or colleagues or other broadband stakeholders that need to be aware of what's going on. Please do that. But do not create a separate calendar event. That creates confusion. Okay, so as we move forward, please just forward our email invitations as we have these meetings. Thank you. All right, so quickly, BEAD program updates for us. The round 2 application window closed this past Tuesday at 6 p.m. A very strong participation again in round 2. Very proud of that. Everyone on this call should be proud of Arkansas's results so far. Application scoring and evaluation from those ISP applications are currently underway. We're anticipating sort of a 3-week scoring evaluation process, much like round 1. So after round 1, we took a couple of weeks. Our team did some scoring, did some evaluations as we move forward. I want to let everybody know, look, our team will continue to release statistics and data around the applications that have been submitted by the ISPs, but due to federal regulations and our program rules, what we call our preliminary selections, right? So as we move through round 1, round 2, we're going to have a round 3 coming up in a little bit. When we don't call those awards, okay? We call those preliminary selections. And so when ISP applications are selected as part of the BEAD program, again, we call them preliminary selections. So I just wanted to call that out so you kind of understand what I'm saying here. Those are all confidential until the public comment period. Okay, again, due to federal regulations and the way our program is designed, we have to hold that information until we show everything that happens, all the awards for the entire state at one time, and that will be public. That's a public document. We'll put it out, and it'll show all the preliminary selections, okay, all the ISP applications that were selected as part of the BEAD program in the state. Again, one document, all the awards. We're going to put it out publicly. And at that time, everyone will be able to go through and look and see what happened. Just for that, remember, we're not running really separate grant rounds. The BEAD program application windows, at least here in Arkansas, they interact with each other. So in reality, we talk about a round 1, a round 2, a round 3, but it's more like one long application window. And so competition is continuously ongoing. That's why we can release data and stats and percentages and numbers of locations and so forth. But not the actual selections until later in the process when we will put it out publicly for everyone, okay? Here's our quick timeline, kind of in the immediacy around the BEAD program, what we're looking at. So round 2 closed this past Tuesday at 6 p.m. In the next couple of weeks, we will have some data and statistics for you around round 2. And so we'll put that out for everyone in the next couple of weeks and let you look at it, and then we'll talk about it. And we're going to have a round 3. We'll talk about, we don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but likely very near to the start of April that we'll have that. It is our goal to publish the preliminary selection list in June for public comment. Okay, so that's 3 months actually ahead of schedule from what we need to do. Our final grant package document is due back to the federal government by October 4th. So not only will Arkansas have run a very efficient, really good program, we hope to do it 3 months ahead of schedule here. So again, you should be prepared to see a statewide list of preliminary selections or ISP applications in June for your review and comment and so forth. Okay. One of the things that our office is doing is thinking about what the next phase of broadband workforce development in the state needs to look like. Okay, I'm sort of calling it Arkansas Fiber Academy 2.0. And so our office, in collaboration with the Office of Skills Development, is seeking input about what that should look like. Okay, so from an employer perspective, from an ISP employer perspective and contractor perspective, what's needed to make sure that we accomplish and finish the BEAD program in Arkansas and beyond, kind of where do we go from here? Because it will be coming up in a couple of months. It'll be 3 years since the launch of the Arkansas Fiber Academy here in the state. And so we have to continue to iterate and stay with the times and change things up if we need to. So we've reached out to our ISPs and contractors the last couple of weeks to get their input. We're going to have one more broadband employer forum next week, next Wednesday in Texarkana from 11 to 1. Lunch will be catered. So if you're an ISP or a contractor or an interested stakeholder interested in what's going to take place around broadband workforce development in the state, and you can be with us next Wednesday in Texarkana around lunchtime, please register. The link is there for you, and it'll be there in the follow-up communication that you get from our team. All right, with that, we'll hand it over to Cam for updates from the Digital Opportunity Manager this morning. Good morning, Cam.
Good morning. Good morning, Glenn. Good morning, everyone. Just quick updates on my end. I wanted to give a kind of a countrywide view of the digital equity capacity grant process and program. So at this point in time, only one state, Michigan, has started actually implementing their their grant award. They were the first awarded, I believe, and I think they were awarded uh, in late summer, I think August. For reference, our office was awarded in December. So just to give you a glance at what's going on with the other states, and I'll keep updating as these things are going on. There are a few other states that are in the RFP process, which we'll be answering soon. So I just want to give everyone a glance. And so we're working through it, progressing through our processes that we need to go through to get it out for bid. And I think we're in a good spot. If you're interested in being notified when the award is officially published, please send an email to our email that's listed on the screen. On another note regarding broadband committees, we just launched a committee in Jefferson County last Friday. And so we got 20 more to go, right? So super excited about the work they're doing and the team they've assembled. Please, I won't reach out to them as they get their footing. We're still needing to get more rosters. I think it's been rough over 2 years since we established the committees program as an office. And at this point, we have 6 updated rosters. So in the show notes, or in the show notes and in our slide here, you'll have access to the survey if you're an active committee. If you guys are looking to establish committees in the other counties that we do not have active committees in, please reach out to me. And we have some guidance, some materials that can help you get started as well on that front. And so I can skip. And so here's a recap from that meeting. Glenn did a great job leading and presenting. And I think everyone was energized. Okay, you can skip to the next one. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Taylor Stuttgart and Rebecca Johnson from Lead for America. They talk about their award from the Digital Equity Competitive Program and their American Connection Corps program, which we are a participant in. So I'll pass it to you guys.
All right, thanks, Cam. And I'm going to share my screen. Give me just a second. Okay. Can you see that okay? It's in presentation
Yes.
mode on my end. Okay, great. Yeah, so thank you everyone for having us at this Broadband Leaders Network meeting, and excited to talk a bit about our program, the American Connection Corps, which is an AmeriCorps program, as Glenn mentioned, of Lead for America, which is our parent organization, which is focused on place-based national service programs, and our flagship program is the American Connection Corps. And I want to thank Glenn and Cam and the staff at the Arkansas State Broadband Office. They actually serve as a host site. You'll hear a little bit about that in a minute of this program. And they're just an awesome voice and representative of the state on the national level as well. I've had the pleasure of being on a panel recently that Glenn spoke on, and he just does such a great job representing the state of Arkansas and the amazing work that you all are doing across the state to bridge the digital divide. I also want to thank James Owen from the city of Little Rock, who also serves as a host site in this program, and you'll meet the member that works with James in the city in just a minute. So as Cam mentioned, I'm Taylor Stuckert. I'm actually going to be doing this presentation with Katie Bergen, who you'll meet later on, who's our Director of Recruitment and Selection. And I serve as the interim CEO of Lead for America and the Executive Director of the American Connection Corps. I'm calling in from Southwest Ohio. Yeah, I've been with LFA since 2023. My background prior to this was in planning and economic development in Ohio. The digital divide was something that I saw impacting, local communities that I was supporting in my planning work, and certainly across the state. And this program really seemed like a wonderful opportunity to support leaders on the ground in communities across the country to do this important work, sort of going beyond the infrastructure work with broadband and focusing on broadband adoption. So we talked a little bit about, ACC at a high level. Our focus is really on connecting people to places and possibilities in digitally disconnected communities across America. We believe that the digital divide is, and I'm sure most of you on this call also believe this, that it's much more than just internet connectivity. It is really a gateway to quality of life, to economic opportunities, to education and healthcare. There's really a lot of possibilities that can emerge when communities are able to be connected digitally and have access to those resources. Our program is still relatively young. We launched this program at Lead for America in 2021. With the support from a wonderful network of partners who were working on the American Connection Project, and really kind of in response to the challenges with the digital divide that we saw during the COVID-19 pandemic. Land O'Lakes was really our founding partner in this initiative, but we had a great partner here in Arkansas as well, Heartland Forward, that really helped us launch this program, not just nationally, but particularly within the state of Arkansas and the other states that they support in their work. So we've seen a lot of growth since that time in 2021. When I started in 2023, we were serving 14 states. We had about 50 members. Now we serve about 30 states and are pushing about 120 members who signed on to this program at the beginning of the year. And we're still growing quite a bit. We actually have a lot of demand for this program. It's really just a matter of matching up AmeriCorps slot opportunities, grant funds, and just connecting with communities like you all across states in this country. So as I go through this piece, at the end, Katie's going to talk a bit about what it means to be a host site community, to be one of the pins on this map. And we would be excited to continue to grow our presence and support communities across the state of Arkansas. So I think what distinguishes our program, first and foremost, especially as an AmeriCorps program, is that our starting point is really with locally rooted talent. That is where we that's the first step we take in the application process, is finding individuals who have a place connection to the community that we're going to be serving. And we have an amazing recruitment team that does a fantastic job that Katie will talk about. But we're in the top percentile of AmeriCorps programs. We recruited about 97%. We have a high demand for those positions, so we're not just, it's not just everyone that applies gets in. Only about 7.5% of the individuals that apply to this program are actually able to get placed, and that's really due to the high demand that we have from the member applicant side. But it's not that we just accept members in the program, we also retain them. And I'll speak a little to this, I think, on the next slide or two. But this is an important stat within the national service space is your retention rate. And at 95%, again, we're near the top. And I think in large part, this is because of this starting point that we focus on that local connection. We find ways to support our members and help them, stay in their community, stay in service, and be successful throughout the program year. And right now, about a third of our members actually end up doing a second year. So our program is a 1-year service program, but members are welcome to come back for an additional year to continue serving with their host site, and we see a substantial amount of them doing just that. So again, as I mentioned, we really, our starting point is that local connection. This is more than just the direct service opportunity, which is obviously important when we partner with the host sites and communities. So those are the nonprofit or public agencies that we work with and we place a member with. It really is about that immediate direct service capacity, but it's also about building that connection with local talent in these communities. And the reason we start there is that a lot of our work is that boots on the ground community engagement type work. And we strongly believe that, enrolling that talent with existing community connections is a very strong foundation to build upon. So these are individuals who have familiarity with the place that they're serving. They have some relationships and networks there. And we really, focus on a variety of lived experiences with that place-based commitment. So I think a lot of people think of AmeriCorps strictly maybe in terms of just, young adults, which, I think it's still, even with us, can be predominantly so. But we like to have a broad representation of our core. We are an intergenerational program. We have members right out of high school. We have members with graduate degrees. We have members who are late career folks. And some retirees even. And that connection to place is really the thread that runs through all of them. The other component to our program is really about building deep partnerships with local networks and organizations. And I think within the state of Arkansas, we've been very fortunate to have wonderful partners there who have seen the long-term opportunity beyond just the immediate short-term direct service need with building this relationship and having that sort of boots on the ground capacity year in and year out. And as Katie will talk about, our selection process goes beyond traditional metrics. So we're not just looking at, where did they, if they went to college, where they went to college, what their GPA was, or things like that. I mean, we really try to build a holistic selection process that is multidimensional, that considers where they are when they enter the program, but also considers their desire to serve the community, their desire to learn through this experience. We offer a lot of training and development in the program. And so a lot of it is, it can vary from person to person. We try to meet our members where they are, and where they are is very different across the board. So I think one of the other things that really sets us apart as a program is the member support that we provide. So, if you're familiar at all with AmeriCorps programs, very often just out of, really out of necessity, they can be often very low paying. $15,000, $16,000 stipends for members. And our program, we offer one of the higher stipends in AmeriCorps at $33,000, and we provide full benefits. I think, one of the key functions of this is what I was speaking to earlier, and that we want to have broad representation in this program, meaning, a lot of programs where I think that the stipend might be less, you can end up with a lot of young folks or folks that have to live at home with mom and dad during service, which is great. We want them in our program, but we also want moms and dads in our program as well. We want people who are really starting from that place with a desire of service to place and an opportunity to lead and really connect with the community. And we want to reduce as many of the hurdles to that as possible. And so that's our strong motivation to continue to increase this as much as we can. And with that, like all AmeriCorps programs, our members receive an education award. They can use this for college, but they can also use it for other job training programs. It doesn't have to just go to college. And they can also transfer it. So for our members that are maybe not going to go to college themselves or have children or grandchildren going to college, there are opportunities to transfer that award to them as well. We also provide a team of program staff who provide, one-to-one engagement with our members, checking in on them regularly. Really, the idea of that is that they help support our host site supervisors who are really sort of the on-the-ground supervisor of the member, but supporting them by giving them technical resources, giving them support, and helping them problem solve. But it's also about connecting them to a national network of resources and opportunities that the member might not have exposure to if they were just strictly working on a local or state level. And of course, our members are eligible for student loan forbearance, and child care assistance is available to help broaden the tent of who can serve in this program. So, as I said earlier as well, the direct service capacity opportunity is really what it's about up front. But we also view this as really being, an impact multiplier program, meaning that yes, it's the direct service that's important, but we also feel that it's important for communities to be building that bench of talent, of civic leadership, of individuals who are skilled and well-versed in these issues and problem-solving opportunities on issues that are affecting communities across the country. We're one of the few, I think, national programs that serve both urban and rural communities. So we can serve, the smallest of small places, as well as our larger partners. And the reason that that's important is a lot of the communities where the digital divide is really persistent. Often it comes down to having that bench of local talent or local leadership, that future generation leaders in place, and connecting them to a national network of resources and other communities, peer communities, from which they can learn. So we see that multiplier playing out in our program. Our primary focus within the American Connection Corps is on digital access and adoption. We do, as I said at the very beginning, we believe that this does create lasting economic opportunity. It's more than just an internet connection. It is a key to unlock many possibilities, many opportunities beyond even what we can imagine and speak to today. And with many of our community partners, we have a high return rate. In Arkansas, as I mentioned, we've been very fortunate to have that, and it really builds a generational community impact. So we have many of our members who go on to work for their host sites that they're serving with during service and actually end up being host site supervisors themselves. Last fall, we did a survey with alumni, and 35% of the alumni surveyed are actually currently employed with their host site that they served with. So we see this being a multi-generational impact for the community. And it's a sustainable model that expands beyond traditional brain drain narrative, meaning that while we have a ton of members who, are from small communities, they left to go to college, and this is their sort of entry back into the community through ACC. We also have members who never left the community who, for a variety of reasons, maybe they never wanted to leave, couldn't leave. But this is a great, model program that creates space for them as well, and expands that definition of talent to capture all sorts of different people in place. So in the state of Arkansas specifically, we have a long history, and I think that that's due to the great partners on the ground that I mentioned at the beginning. It's also due to other great partners like Heartland Forward who have helped us build those connections, and some of our philanthropic partners. I know Comcast has been supportive as well as building out in the state of Arkansas. So the city of Little Rock, the state broadband office, Southwest Arkansas Planning Development, and Marion County, Arkansas have all hosted members in our program at one time or another. And two of them currently do, which you'll learn about right now. I'm going to open the floor to Noah Haynes to introduce himself and the work that he's doing, and we'll meet India and Seth after that. Noah, are you on the call?
Yes, thank you, Taylor. Hello, everybody. My name is Noah Haynes. You may recognize me as the person who sends out all the email notes after this meeting. I moved to Little Rock when I was just 3 years old. I've called it home ever since. I got my bachelor's up in Jonesboro. Then after that, I moved to Germany to complete my master's. While I was over there, I got a message on LinkedIn from the ACC recruitment team. And I looked into it and I thought, what better way to return back to the US than to come home and make a difference in my community? I currently serve at the Arkansas State Broadband office, and my work focuses on supporting the BEAD program, which most of you are familiar with. It funds broadband infrastructure grants throughout Arkansas. And it's incredibly meaningful for me to know that I am helping improve connectivity and close the digital divide for not just communities statewide, but the place that I've called home for all of my life.
Awesome. Thank you, Noah. And next up, we have India Stevens.
Hi, everyone. My name is India. I was born and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas. I've been here all my life. I left to go to school at Xavier University of Louisiana, which is in New Orleans, and I returned. I'm finishing up my undergraduate degree, and I hopefully, eventually plan to go to law school. But I've always been big on community service and giving back. And if you know anything about me, I love outreach. And I've been saying my motto when I'm finishing up college and to return home is to wanting to get involved in a city that I've only known as like a child. And so like being back in Little Rock and being here as an adult, I feel like I've had the opportunity, and the Arkansas State Broadband Office has helped me with the opportunity of getting reimmersed in my city, but from a point of like service. So I really enjoy it here. My tasks here include mostly like social media and marketing. So if you follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Nextdoor, Twitter, and Facebook, please follow. I do all the posts and I work alongside Cam when it comes to outreach. But I love the AmeriCorps program, and as somebody who holds service dearly, it means a lot to me that they chose me to be a part of their program. So thank y'all.
Thank you, India. And next up, we have Seth Wyatt.
Yeah, thank you, Taylor. As Taylor said, my name is Seth Wyatt. I am born in Jacksonville, raised in Cabot. I swam competitively for a time in Sherwood. I went to high school for a little while in Searcy. I worked in Little Rock and North Little Rock. My grandpa lived in Maumelle. Central Arkansas is my place. It's where I'm from, and it means so much to me. I left Central Arkansas to go to college in Kentucky to a school called Transylvania University. I was a tour guide there. Please ask me about it. It is a funny name. I enjoy talking about it. I came back to Little Rock. When I was younger, I was very involved in service work, local politics and policy in Central Arkansas. And I knew that coming back to Little Rock, I wanted to continue that work. And I graduated with my master's degree from the Clinton School of Public Service last year. And very soon after that, an opportunity to work for the city of Little Rock in the Office of Executive Administration and serve there for the American Connection Corps came up. And I just could not have been more happy to accept that, and couldn't be prouder of the fact that they believed in me, both the American Connection Corps and the Little Rock, in my heart for service. In my position there, I serve on the Pulaski County Broadband board. I do community service and civics programs and civic engagement programs, and really seek to bolster relationships with community partners. And I work with staff to make sure that our information is up to date on what we could be doing digital skilling wise, and what broadband funding situations are like, for residents of Little Rock. So I do a kind of a jack of all trades role, but it's all really at heart, what the ACC does, place, people, possibility, and seeing how those three things really flow through every single one of the positions that, me and Noah and India hold. It has been a real treat. So thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Seth. And Arkansas, I think you should be proud of the members that are serving in our program. I think that they are, just exemplary of what we look for, what we hope to have in our program in terms of people who have such a passion for the place that they're serving, and not only can jump in and do that technical work that's needed, but also are just building a tighter relationship and a deeper bond with the place that they're serving through this experience. So as Glenn mentioned at the top of the call, we were very fortunate to be one of the organizations named in the first round of the NTIA DE competitive grant program. We've been recommended for award, and I'm just going to share a bit about what our focus is on that award. And really, you've heard about ACC. This award is really focused on expanding our work and enabling us to expand the communities that we're reaching. But it's also going to support the existing program that we're already running right now. So as you can see, this is a national digital equity competitive grant program, and we approached our application with several states, and really it was driven by partners on the ground, but also partners who of our program who were doing work in various states and looking for opportunities to do that work through this program. So our partner in the state of Arkansas for this grant program is the Center on Rural Innovation, CORI. If you're not familiar with them, you should look them up. They're a wonderful nonprofit organization, really focused on from this standpoint, the role that the digital divide can play in tech entrepreneurship, and how bridging the digital divide can create opportunities to build that tech entrepreneurship infrastructure and communities. So with CORI, they have a partner community in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, so Jefferson County, I saw mentioned earlier, which is exciting. And so this grant would enable us to provide 2 members for that initiative in Pine Bluff. But as I mentioned, this grant program would fund 80 members on an annual basis. That would not necessarily take away from the members that we already are supporting and the opportunities we already support through our AmeriCorps grant and other programs. So, our focus is to continue working with our partners in Arkansas, even beyond just the DE program. So, when we get to Katy, if you're interested, any nonprofits or government agencies, you heard from Noah, India, and Seth about what members can provide and the sort of the bigger picture impact of the program. But we're excited to have Arkansas included in this grant initiative, just because you guys are doing such great work, and we love the opportunity to expand that work within the state. And so the investment would be almost $500,000 over the 3-year period of the grant. And you kind of heard from Noah, India, Seth about what they're doing. That's really the focus of our work in this program. You're going to see our members doing work around digital literacy, creating community connection to opportunities related to digital connectivity, things like device distribution, technical support, and really just general awareness about programs that are available, about broadband networks that are available, community networks, ones that can help individuals and organizations and anchor institutions get plugged into the awesome things that you're doing across the state. And one of the things I didn't mention, but I kind of touched on was the possibilities piece. But, a lot of the work that we do in our program around the training and development we provide to our members is really to build that technical capacity on the ground in community. So we have a lot of members, as I mentioned, that come into our program. They go on to be host site supervisor. This is really kind of a workforce development opportunity. Is a great way to expand just the knowledge on the ground in this space. And so we would encourage any communities that are interested, again, whether you're a library, a regional planning commission, a state office, we would be happy to talk to you about how you could participate in this program. Finally, my end of the slides before I pass it to Katie, I think it's now more than ever, as much as ever, it's important to voice the impact of these resources. I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, have followed the news about sort of questions and uncertainties about funding. We certainly are. I was in DC last week with NDIA doing some Hill visits. I'm going back next week to continue to talk about the importance of this program and this work really around broadband access and adoption. And so I really think all the elected officials I have met with, whether it's no matter which side of the aisle they're on, I feel like this is one of the most bipartisan issues in the country is bridging the digital divide. I think it's important for elected officials and policymakers to understand what the need is, what the impact really is. We talk a lot about broadband infrastructure, and we have to equally talk about the usage of that infrastructure. If you build a road, you still need cars, you still need drivers and driver's licenses and driver's education to be able to use that effectively. And I think broadband and digital connectivity is no different. And it's just important for I think policymakers to hear the substance of the work that each of you are doing across the state of Arkansas, impact that you're making on your communities, the amazing stories that you're seeing emerge from the work you're doing. And so I just wanted to plug the importance of now to take time to reach out and share those stories and make sure that they're hearing about the amazing work that you all are doing, because it does matter. I'm always pleased by how welcomed I am in those offices and how excited they are to hear about the work of our program and the work of the partners that we work with in our program. So with that, I will pass it to Katie.
Yeah, thank you so much, Taylor, and thank you all for having us. So I'm just going to chat quickly through the benefits of hosting an ACC AmeriCorps member, our timeline, and how you can get connected if you are interested in serving or interested in hosting a member this year. So to start us off, some of the benefits, our ACC members, they work on a lot of key projects and they build a lot of capacity at our organizations, but ACC members also serve as connectors. They build relationships with local leaders, businesses, and residents, which amplify your mission, bring in new opportunities. But they also play a vital role in strengthening the local talent pipeline in a community. And they do this by gaining hands-on experience, building professional skills, and often staying in the community they continue to make an impact in. And so when we look at the benefits of an AmeriCorps member, of an ACC member, I always like to highlight those few things first, because yes, they are, they're bridging a lot of these gaps within organizations, but there are a lot of other things that they're doing that you sometimes can't see right out the gate. And so, but beyond the immediate benefits, hosting an ACC member helps grow long-term leadership as well. This kind of goes back to them, building up this local talent pipeline and being connectors. When members are out in a community, when they are building these relationships with other organizations, building relationships within your organization, they are learning valuable leadership skills and they are being connected and exposed to different opportunities. And another benefit of hosting a member is that they are also connected to a national network of community leaders. And so, we have our place-based approach, our local approach to recruitment and placing a member. But once they are in the cohort and they are matched with you as an organization, they are then connected to a national level of mentors, leaders, industry experts that they can then take that information, those relationships, and bring it back to the community that they're serving in. Some of the skills that members develop as they go throughout the year and that they often bring into the program are project management, civic engagement. A lot of our members do a lot of community outreach advocacy type of work, and ultimately just building up their community through those different skills that they bring and develop during their service year. As a host site, your members also gain access to best practices, peer learning opportunities, and of course, I mentioned that broad support system as well. But something I want to touch on briefly here is our ACC members are recruited with a deep respect for place in mind, and the local context in mind. So we do not typically bring members out from a different state or even a different county. We typically recruit from within the community that they are living in, that they're from, that they have a close connection to. Now, of course, there are exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, our members are serving in where they call home or where they have a strong connection to community. So they come in ready to understand and support your community's unique needs, because they have experienced those challenges, they've seen the opportunities that are here, and they want to contribute to those. From day one, they work shoulder to shoulder with you and your partners, becoming an extension of your team to help move impactful projects forward. And instead of jumping in with preset solutions, they start with an engaging listening tour. So they chat with local leaders, organizations, residents, and they get the full picture of the challenges and opportunities in the community outside of their own understanding. And they also have a position description that we develop with you to help continue tailoring, this local approach, and making sure that their service is tailored to the specific needs rather than a one-size-fits-all program. And we work with you at the national level to help create that position description when you are in the host recruitment process. But ultimately, our members make a deeper, more lasting impact by being integrated into the community, by having these tailored position descriptions and conducting their local listening tours as well. And so we'll talk about the timeline. So we are in the midst of host site recruitment. We are accepting applications right now. That application is open on our website. If you have any trouble finding it, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to send you that link. I'm sure Taylor can drop it in the chat as well. But we are recruiting and we will be selecting sites early April. And so if you are selected to move forward, then you will begin the member recruitment process. And so we will start meeting one-on-one with you, our team of recruiters. We will get an idea of what the needs are of your program and your organization, how this member will support you, where they will serve, all of the logistics we need to move forward to have a successful recruitment process. And you are assigned a recruiter for your organization. Our recruiters serve in regions. And so the idea is that they are an expert in your region and that they can help provide a lot of additional recruitment support outside of just posting a job on LinkedIn. And so we do manage the entire application process for your member as well. So we send out the application, we do the national level recruitment and also local level recruitment. And then we conduct phone screens, we review their applications, invite them to finalist interviews. So all of the administrative side of recruiting, we take care of that for you, and then invite you to that finalist interview at the end and present the candidates to you to go through and interview and choose, and hopefully welcome your member in September. So the recruitment process is from May to August, and then members will be onboarded. They will get prepared for their virtual orientation and then their in-person orientation, and then they will start with you in September. First day, I believe, is September 22nd this year. And then they will continue throughout the year until next August.
All right. Thank you, Katie. And again, thanks to Glenn and Cam and the staff at the State Broadband Office for hosting us, inviting us to speak here. And then, James at City of Little Rock as a host site supervisor. And just thank you all for the amazing work you guys are doing across the state on this important issue. We love, again, working with our partners in Arkansas. Would love to connect with you. So feel free to reach out at any point to connect with us, even if it's just a chat. Our whole objective really is to make this as a turnkey of a process as possible. I didn't mention, but, as Katie was talking about the administrative piece of recruitment, it's the same thing on the program side. The members, we put them on our payroll. We do all the grant compliance work from the AmeriCorps side of things. We process all of that to make it as burdensome free as possible for the host site partners on the ground so that they can focus on the important work that you're doing in your community. So also just want to thank Noah, India, and Seth for being here today. I can't express my pride enough and how much they represent our program well, but also just represent the state of Arkansas and the local communities that they're serving as well. So super excited to have them here and to speak directly with you as well, and grateful for that. So Cam, I think we would open it up to questions if there's time, or anything else you want to say. Thank you all again.
There is a question in the chat from Jeff.
Yeah,
If,
you had that one
you take
question.
that.
Question is around the host site.
Jeff. Yeah. So as I mentioned, that we're working with the Center on Rural Innovation. I know that they have existing work that they're doing with around an innovation hub, I believe, called the Generator in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And so I couldn't speak exactly to the specific organization maybe that's leading on that just yet, but I think as we get through the spring and summer, I'll have more information on that if you want to check in.
Yeah, Taylor, for clarification for the folks, right? So just to reinforce that, the two positions, they're not currently there. This is something that is planned through the grant, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Thanks, Glenn.
Yep. Thanks, Taylor. Let's see. Adam, looks like you had a hand up.
Yeah. Thanks for presenting on this today. As an AmeriCorps alum myself, I love the program. I did 2 years out at Garvin Gardens building trails and stuff, so know quite a bit about it. But my question, I'm sorry, I took a call in the middle of it, so you may have already answered this, but what are the total amount of positions that could be allocated in this grant in Arkansas?
So through just the NTIA grant is just 2, but what I was saying too is that we have an AmeriCorps grant beyond that. And so currently we have 3 members already serving in Arkansas, and I think there's potentially interest to continue those. And we would take on, basically the way it works is we're a national grantee, so we're applying to AmeriCorps. We're in that process right now. We're waiting probably for another couple months to hear what our exact slot count total is. But just for your awareness, I mean, we're applying for up to 200 members. So we're currently at about 105 on our national slot or national grant. So those 3 members that are currently serving in Arkansas, they're coming from that national grant. It has nothing to do with the NTIA DE grant. So really it just depends on what kind of interest and opportunities there is within the state and how well we can match those up with the grants. And I'll just say that as we grow in each state, we eventually we will connect with your AmeriCorps State Commission office and look at doing a specific program within the state. And it really just depends on the level of interest that is expressed in the state as we're going through that application process. But we have certain states like Illinois, Idaho, Mississippi, Massachusetts, where we have like statewide cohorts, meaning that we have 10 plus members serving in that state, and would love to continue to grow that. But as I said, our model is very much relationship based. And so it takes a little longer. We want to meet the communities on the ground, the partners on the ground, see what their need is, and build that relationship over time. So it's a little more slow build, but happy to chat more if there's any interest at all in the program.
Yeah, sure will. Would my first order of business be to go to the website and either ask for more information or apply as a site?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. You'll find that on the website, and I think Katie's email's in the chat as well. If you want to reach out directly to her too, she can help guide you.
Yeah, you can feel free to email me and we can set up a call, or you can go ahead and fill out the application. It takes about 5-10 minutes, so it's not extensive, and we'll also set up a call through that. So either way.
Great, thank you.
Yep, thank you, and happy AmeriCorps Week, Adam.
Yeah. Very good. Let's see. So just making sure we're catching up off of the chat box for folks. So the question about Pine Bluff, and then Rebecca has put the email addresses both for Taylor and Katie in the chat box, and also the link to the application link for this particular program. We'll give it just another minute or two, just in case any questions regarding the presentation from the American Connection Corps this morning, or any other questions related to the BEAD program or anything else that may be on your mind. We'll give it just another minute or two. And as we wait, just in case someone's typing out a long one, thank you to Taylor and Katie and Noah, India, and Seth for taking part today. Let's see. Jeff was asking, should host sites be nonprofit organizations?
Yeah, so they can be nonprofits or public agencies. We basically our limitations are to whatever AmeriCorps are, which is they have to be nonprofit, government or public agencies. You can also be a religious organization as well, or faith-based organization. It just, the position can't be, proselytizing, but they could certainly serve those types of organizations.
Really good question there.
Absolutely.
Just another second. All right. Well, with that, we'll give just a couple of minutes back to everyone. Again, thanks to Taylor and Katie for being here, for Rebecca as well, helping out on the chat. And thank you for the presentation, everyone. Of course, on the call, as always, we'll receive a follow-up email from our team with the PowerPoints from today and other notes. And we will see everyone in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great weekend.
All right. Bye all.